Did that play?
I don't know if that did play.
Hello, everybody.
It wouldn't be one of our lives if there wasn't a few technical issues, would it?
Every time there's technical issues.
Can't have
Hello, everybody.
It feel too weird. Hey, Simon.
Right, well, I'm going to say good evening to everybody. Welcome to Equilibrium Collective. My name is Laura-Jayne. We have my co-host Terry, and we're joined by Simon for the first time. Hi,
hello,
Simon.
everyone. Hello. Good evening.
How have you been?
It's been a good day so far. Well, apart from my car battery dying, but there we are. That's life, isn't it? I don't think that was paranormal, though. I don't think that was paranormal.
No. Ghost in the stream, no.
Are you ladies okay?
Yeah, all good here. Busy as always. Looking forward to tomorrow, which is the end of uni, and 7 weeks actually off and relax.
Hey, there we go.
Well, it's not actually relaxed. Then you have to wait on the end of your seat to find out what your results are for the year.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you find out?
I have no idea.
Oh, the suspense.
Well, I've had a visit. Well, I've not been here for a month, so I've not seen my first live in a month.
Welcome back.
Yes.
You just haven't you?
I'm ready and raring to go, mate.
Let's rock.
But whoever's here, drop a hello. Hello to everyone. Make a comment. I'll be able to see what you're all writing. Obviously, tonight we're going to do all about Skinwalker Ranch. It is an absolutely fascinating place. The amount of activity they have there. I mean, the main thing is the UFOs that you've got there, and then obviously you've got the Skinwalker Ranch. So I'll start with the history of the place. You've got the Untitled Basin, I think I'm saying that right, where the Skinwalker Ranch is located, and it covers a large area in the northwest of Utah. Say 100, 200 years ago, the Ute, oh God, I can't say it. The Ute and then yes, that's it. Ute and Navajo were the two main tribes at Skinwalker Ranch. Well, it was at Skinwalker Ranch then. They had a very turbulent relationship, the two tribes. They would raid each other and also end up taking slaves. It was very turbulent, basically, their relationship. They'd get on sometimes, and most of the time they never really got on. When the relationship, it completely broke down when the Utes tribe, they allied with Kit Carson. He was basically a US soldier and tasked with leading a brutal, basically, campaign to get the Navajo tribe off the land. And with the help of the Ute tribe, they were successful. The Navajos surrendered and were forced to march to Fort Sumner. The Utes eventually moved back to the reservation in Untitled Basin, which we know as Skinwalker Ranch. Now, the Utes were convinced the Navajo put a curse on the land in retaliation for the Ute betrayal. And this is where the Skinwalkers basically started. The Skinwalkers, they can change, like, what do you call them? Changelings. They can change into wolves, birds, even other humans. It is absolutely fascinating, to be fair. I mean, the amount of stuff that's happened. I'm reading off my book. You have the Skinwalkers, you have UFO sightings there, paranormal activity, you've got cattle mutilation, people there have had bizarre injuries that doctors don't know what's happened.
do they think all like the cattle stuff and the injuries and everything, is that due to skinwalkers, or is that just due to just random phenomenon?
They're thinking it's to do with UFOs, the aliens.
Oh, okay.
There is a video, which we'll show you in a little while, of a cattle that's a cow that's died, and just above it they call a strange object just above where the cattle was.
So
you've had loads of... No?
Aliens are not vegetarians.
Apparently not. They've had eyes cut, the found eyes cut out, ears cut off. You've got cattle that have been basically mutilated and everything's been taken out, but there's no blood at all in the area. So like, well, how has this cow been mutilated and everything's been taken out and there's no evidence of blood anywhere?
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I will say straight off the bat now that I don't actually know quite as much about this ranch as either Laura or Simon do. So I am going to be asking lots of very, very simple questions because I don't know anything. So why are the UFOs so attracted to this particular area? I get the skinwalkers because of these two Indian tribes. As Ghost Hunter Jace has said in the comments, when two tribes go to war, and now I have that earworm. Thank you, Jace.
Tribes go to war. Thanks, Jace.
Good evening, Mr. Duke.
Good evening. Yeah. So I get why things like skinwalkers could be attracted to that area because there is a lot of that energy there. And obviously the skinwalkers and the Wendigos and all of that stuff is all very, very based in American Indian mythology and their beliefs and all of that system. But what's attracting the UFOs? Oh.
Did you find out anything about that, Simon? Because that's what I don't understand, why there's so much attraction there with the UFOs. I mean, they've even got radiation there. We had a fallout from the atom bomb that the army released. They were doing tests there. It wasn't on Skinwalker Ranch, it was further away that they did this, but then I think the wind brought obviously the radiation over.
There is a very big theory with ufologists that that the aliens, the UFOs, the alien species that are supposedly watching us and everything are very concerned about our use of nuclear power. Apparently, one nuclear bomb that went up, they actually destroyed it. And wherever there is a nuclear test, you see a lot more activity. They're very, very concerned about stopping us from using nuclear power, basically to destroy ourselves. Thank you very much. So if that's the case and there's been nuclear testing in the area, that could possibly be why they're showing such an interest in the area as well. That's quite interesting.
Well, obviously, a lot of our information has been taken from like the internet and also from this new series that they're doing with this team that's just come on the ranch now, and a lot of the stuff that they've done is through digging because they wanted to see what was underneath the grounds of the site, because they did geophys, and that allowed them to see what was under the soil to a degree of I think it was 17 feet if I remember rightly. Well, anyway, what I've noticed is that when they've done digging or when they've gone to certain areas to do tests, that's when radiation spikes up, or for instance, the UFO was spotted, like in the clips that we'll show shortly. And what it reminds me of is that, you know, if you were going to, say, a sacred area and you went into a place where you weren't supposed to go, and there was like security protocols put into place, like radiation spikes up or they see this UFO, it's almost as if they're put into place security precautions.
Right.
That's what it is. In other words, warding them off. Because have we got the video of where they sent the rocket up? Have we got that?
No, we ain't got that video. If we play it, we can play that video. You've got the this is where they found a cow that died. They're not sure what happened. It wasn't mutilated; it was just dead. And this is where they saw, and they got evidence of a UFO just above. Well, supposed UFO. It was an object that wasn't identified.
That is what a UFO
is. Yeah. Unidentified flying object.
Well, because what they did was they called a vet out to do an autopsy on the carcass, and the side of the animal that would have looked up to the sky, the eye was missing, which is a common thing in cattle mutilation. But when they went inside the animal, the vet said that the cow died of pneumonia, and basically, in layman's terms, it got scared. It got scared to death.
Oh.
So whatever it felt or whatever it's seen, it scared it to death.
Oh, poor thing. Oh, Laura, shall we play the UFO footage from the Skinwalker Ranch? Do you want to?
Yes, I would love that. Sorry for me and Matt. I'm sharing and talking at the same time. But yeah, we can play that video.
You can do this.
I'm multitasking. But yeah, no, this video, this is where you've got the series, the Skinwalker Ranch, and this is from the History Channel, this video. So it is really good. So if we play that,
yeah,
you can all have a look and you can make your own assumptions about it.
Other butchers.
We good to go?
Yeah.
Rocket.
Oh yeah, I've got to do it, haven't I?
To show you ready, and we're going to watch this cow.
After Linda and the rest of the team finished checking out the remains of the dead cow, they joined Brandon, Dragon, and I in the command center, where Eric was eager to share with us something amazing he noticed in the surveillance footage.
The surveillance cameras captured the ordeal that this animal went through over a period of several hours. We're looking towards the right extreme. I'm going to zoom in on it.
That's the tree that we found the cow on.
Right out here.
Is that black object?
Yeah, that's it, Tom. The cow is right here. What we'll do is go forward very slowly and watch what happens with her.
Watch how she moves. It's interesting.
Now you see the cow starts to get up. I'm going to do this very slowly, frame by frame, so we can watch what's happening with her. So here, I can't help but also notice that there's something happening here.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that.
It looks like an object above the tree.
And it happens right when the cow moves, raises up. Go back and show them where you first see it, Eric.
Okay, so this is where something else does enter the frame. The next frame, the object is here. The cow is trying to get up on her feet.
The cow reacted.
Right.
The moment that object appeared above the cow was reacting.
Yes. Something is clearly happening here on the ranch. We've seen all sorts of weird signals. We've been exposed to radiation, seen toxic gases. And now we have this cow dying, and there's a strange object flying at really fast speeds above it. This could be the start of actually an
eye-opening experience and experiment. We might find something here that's a lot deeper than we think.
At first, when I saw this object, my rational mind tried to make sense of it. Tried to make it look like an airplane, or a bird, or a bug, or something. But the more I looked at it, the more I thought about it, it was not any of those things.
What was this craft doing out there, and why, at the very time this cow is dying, was this craft seen in the sky? I think it's very intriguing as to why these two events are taking place at the same time.
While this is not a mutilation in the sense that we did not find the animal cut up and emptied of its blood or anything of that sort, this is perhaps one of the most well-documented events of such a suspicious and sudden cattle death on a ranch where activity of this nature is known to have taken place.
So there you go. Let's put it back. So,
Yeah.
What did you all think? And don't forget, guys, make your comments, drop a message. If you want to ask us anything, just write a comment and we'll be able to talk to you. All right. I was reading that.
That was me, sorry.
The key. Let's have a look. Right, we have some paranormal reasons.
I found that video really bizarre, mostly because it's still photos. That object in the sky could literally have been anything. We cannot see what speed it's going, what distance it is away from what's happening. It looked like a bird to me. I think Paranormal Reason, who's on the chat, hello, also said the object is a bird. There's no... They don't say what the cow died of. There's no autopsy on the cow. It's just a cow dying, which they do. That just seemed like a really massive stretch to try and find something odd going on from what's just outside. To me,
they did do an autopsy on the cow. That was the cow that I mentioned earlier. And it died of the pneumonia, the fear-induced pneumonia. Yeah. So when they do a close-up of the UFO, and UFOs don't have to be alien; they can be. It's just an unidentified flying object, so it doesn't have to be alien. But you can see like a fuzziness around the area of the craft. I'll say craft. But you know what I mean. Yeah, that's a good word. There's a video called the Tic Tac video, which was released recently by the defense people, the powers that be. Similar to that, with a haziness around it, and they say that it's mentioned in the program. It's an advanced form of propulsion, and NASA, and this is on the internet, NASA is making advanced propulsion things for spacecraft and travel.
I think Elon Musk rather than NASA.
Yeah, and I mean, there's even one called an EM drive, which I don't know much about, but apparently it moves an object without propulsion. I don't know how that works, but yeah, an EM drive. So
now, many years ago, I helped run a video production company over in Tenerife, which is where I met our lovely Laura-Jayne many moons ago. And I don't know whether you remember this, Laura. I'm sure I would have showed it to you. One of the things that we did is we went to all the big posh houses that were being sold upon the hill and did little video walkthroughs for the companies that were selling the houses. And we had one guy that was doing the filming, and then I would do the editing afterwards. And this chap did a beautiful shot from the view from the balcony, the gorgeous ocean, and he zooms into the balcony to see how far away, and it was a beautiful shot. It was spot on, perfect. And I got really annoyed when I went to come to edit it, because halfway in the middle of this shot, panning in, slow pan into where we were, this object zips really quickly across the sky. It was literally 1 frame of a second. It hops, you see it in the corner, it hops into the frame, it hops back out of the frame. It's literally that quick, just zips across the sky. The cameras that we were using were the big focus lens with the big thing on it. It's not a bug going across the screen because they can't get that close to where the camera lens is because it's all covered up. And it was a sort of a sausage-shaped, blurry object that just...
I remember. I do remember seeing it. You showed me. Yeah.
Nobody saw it with their eye. I was really annoyed with it because it ruined a perfectly good shot. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, that was a UFO that sped past us so quickly we couldn't even see it. We didn't hear it. Nothing. And we only got the camera evidence. I've been looking since I joined Equilibrium. I've been trying to find where that is. I can't find a copy of it anywhere. It's probably on a hard drive somewhere in a box. But it was very similar to that shape that you see in that still. But with that still, you can't see any speed to it. You can't see how fast it's going. That's my problem with it. You can't. It could quite as easily be a bird, just hovering, waiting to, a bird of prey waiting to drop down on some poor unsuspecting mouse 100,000 miles away. You've got no perspective in the trees. There's nothing. You can't see how near or far it is. Nothing. No. That's my problem with it.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, Paranormal Reason, thanks for joining, guys. You're absolutely right. It is being misrepresented, Skinwalker Ranch. And you think with all the technology they have, you're getting blurry pictures and that. It just don't make sense to me. And what else did you write?
We were discussing this last week as well. I know you were on holiday, Laura, but we were discussing last week where when you get a perfectly clear photo of anything, not only UFOs, but any paranormal, any your Bigfoot, if you get a clear and crisp photo, you almost believe it even less.
That's true, because you think that's being superimposed, that's being touched up here and
That's it's really difficult.
Yeah. And like Jason asked, do you think it's being investigated in the right way? In some aspects, I think it is being investigated in the right way with all their equipment. I just think they've gone about the wrong way. But like the digging. There was a guy on the History Channel that did this investigation called Tom, and he had a bizarre incident where apparently if you dig on Skinwalker Ranch, something's going to happen to you. Bad things happen. And this guy, Tom, had an incident on his head, and all his head swelled up, and then he ended up splitting his scalp. And the doctors couldn't figure out how it happened or what could be the cause of it. Doctors just scratching their heads, didn't know. And then when he did the investigation again, he had another episode and he had to go to hospital. But that could be.
It's not the best TripAdvisor review, is it? Really?
But again, you're like, do you? Is it an anomaly? Is it paranormal, or is it just he has a health issue? I mean, it could be anything.
Well, he did have a head condition before that one that happened on the show, which was why he was so tentative about digging. But as Laura rightfully said, when they were seeing the lights and trying to get the direction, or they were holding a square sheet of foil up for some reason. I think it was direction of the waves or something. And when they showed the X-ray of the injury, his scalp was almost trying to be pulled back from his brain. It was quite a nasty little injury that he had there, and I'm sure that they said that it was almost as if and this sort of thing comes up again actually, but it was like a focus of X-rays on that particular area, the back of his scalp, and that was what the what the side effects was.
Is
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if this is just a random question I'm throwing out. Is the ranch like on ley lines? Does it fall on?
No, I don't know. I've never actually looked that up to see if it's on ley lines or not.
I couldn't honestly tell you.
There is incidences across the world of areas where 2 or 3 different ley lines converge, where there is a buildup of things like similar to X-ray, where people get really bad health problems if they hang about in the area for too long. So I don't know whether that might be an issue that it has.
But like what we said earlier about when they dropped the bombs in the 40s and the 50s, some of the life of these radioactive isotopes that were being dropped, you're talking about 30 to 40 to 50 years, and then they dropped more in the 90s, I believe they did, if memory right. So, I mean, those effects are going to last for another 20 to 30 years. So the radiation is there, especially if the ground has absorbed it as well. You know what I mean. So, what I'm quite surprised at actually is that if there's radiation there and is a high level sometimes, why they aren't using hazmat suits and more protective clothing to stop themselves from being exposed to potentially high levels of radiation.
They're Americans.
Everything is big.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. I don't really know. I don't know too much about the whole dropping of the bombs and the after effects that they've had on the local areas, and how long and how much the government's trying to cover up the after effects of all this. I mean, there's quite a lot of evidence that because of the nuclear testing back then and all the nuclear waste that went up into the air, that's why cancers have been increased and health issues all over the world, not even in the area, but it's gone up into the atmosphere and it's fallen down, and we've all suffered the consequences of it. Yeah. But where the actual drop site is, I can imagine it must have done just. I mean, there is a theory that the nuclear explosions that we tested actually affected life on a quantum level. So not just our universe, but in our universes next to ours, and that is why the UFOs are attracted, because they want to make sure the bombs that we're dropping are affecting their world and their atmosphere and their lives. It could be.
Well, that's one of the things that, because they brought in a Navajo expert or practitioner or tribesman or whatever you want to call him, and what he was saying was, because he was very in tune with the land, obviously. Yeah. He was saying that there are portals there that, like with multiverses, things like that, that things can pop in and pop out, and before you know it, you wouldn't even know that they've been there. Which is why, when it comes to cat mutilations and things like that, that there's no tracks.
Through the other side, yeah, okay.
So that's one possible explanation. That there's wormholes and portals that can, like, doorways for these things to come out and go in and say hi,
And do they think that it was the nuclear testing that caused these portals and doorways, or they were there all the time and the nuclear testing affected them?
Good question. That wasn't actually brought up, but from what I could see.
I mean, I suppose there's no way to empirically say yes or no to that question, to be honest. How can you tell whether they were there before or not? But I would be tempted, with the amount of evidence that's happened since then, to say that nuclear testing really affected the physical and the subatomic structure of everything around it. And I would be tempted. I mean, I don't know so much about the subject, but I'm now very tempted to go and research other areas where nuclear bombs have been dropped to see if there's anything similar occurring across the board. Because I mean, it's not just America that did the testing, and you've also got where they actually dropped the bombs on people. I would be tempted to go in and just have a nose and see if there's similar things in the areas around where the bombs have been dropped in other places, and see if anything similar.
Paranormal reason put the bomb site were miles away, and it suggested that perhaps the fallout was blown in the direction of the ranch, which is true. That's what they said, that probably the wind's blown it over, but obviously, like Paranormal Reason said, it's not verified, so we can't prove. But like I said, there is radiation, isn't there, there that they've picked up.
But you know, I mean, that could be something as simple as some nefarious company somewhere burying their waste on the land illegally. Yeah, that's been done. So I mean, that might not have anything to do with anything that happened. It might just be. I mean, there's plenty of cases in America of companies burying their nuclear waste out in the middle of nowhere illegally, so they don't have to pay the fees for getting it disposed of properly.
Yeah,
like in the film Fire Down Below.
Possibly not seen it, but yes.
Good film. Highly recommend.
I'll put it on my to-do list. I have time.
Nothing to do with Skinwalker Ranch, but it's a good film anyway. But going back to why the Skinwalker Ranch is called Skinwalker, because I know if I was watching this, that's the one question that I'd want to know. I'd be asking.
It doesn't inspire you to visit, really.
So I'm gonna answer my own question for you.
Simon, why is it called Skinwalker Ranch?
Funny you should ask that. So the Skinwalker is, as I think Laura brought it up earlier. It's a unfriendly witch in the Navajo lore. I was gonna have a go at doing the Navajo translation of a Skinwalker. I'll give it my best shot if it'll be of comical use to anybody.
Give it a go.
Yi Naldo Shiai.
I couldn't tell you whether you were saying it correct or not, but it sounds good. We'll go with it.
Somewhere Navajo tribesman just went bless you. So translated, forgive me for not looking in the camera. I'm looking at my notes. I'll see if I ask better. It means.
I will say, I'm really sorry, guys. For some reason, the link's not working, and so everyone's clicking on it, and it's not bringing them onto here. So I'm having to write. They're gonna have to go onto YouTube and manually put in Equilibrium Collective that way.
There's people joining. We've got Faith joined us. Hello, Nicole's joined us. Nicole K, hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Simon, carry on. We've interrupted you. Apologies.
No.
Sarah, the link's not working.
It's me. I'm a bad omen. It's me. So it literally translation. It means by means of it, it goes on all fours.
Oh.
And it's a shape-shifting witch that can disguise itself as an animal, but also can possess people, and it can possess a man or a woman. Interesting thing is that through the telling of stories from the lore of Skinwalker, is that with the European influence, it also became known as the Hook, which if you watch the film called The Candyman, young kids don't watch it by all means, but because it's an 18, it's very, very scary. But the guy in it has a hook, and it's like a boogeyman. It's so yeah.
Oh, is that sort of old wives' tale with the couple out in the car and they hear a scraping along the side and out to investigate and disappears and he's hanging from a tree overhead and
it's all about, it's like bees and things like that. And I mean, I've been a hook for a hand. I mean, scratching your nose in the morning must be a terrible thing to do, but we won't go into that.
Said nose.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a family show. But the UT or the Utai, they believe that the Skinwalkers didn't live on site. They believed that they lived in a place called Dark Canyon, which is a reservation, like not a reservation, but it's a reservation or reserve. One of the two. But I checked on Google today, because obviously you wouldn't find a Skinwalker driving a car around or a truck. You know what I mean?
You don't know.
Imagine the driving test. So the distance between Dark Canyon and Skywalker Ranch on foot is 4 days. It's 324 miles. 7 hours by car if it's getting the lift. But there's also good for the skeptical amongst us. There's also psychological conditions as well. I'll try and say this right. Therianthropy, which is a mythological ability to change into an animal, but there's also clinical lycanthropy, which is where a person believes that they're becoming an animal, like a wolf or so, or things like that. But there's also I didn't know. Yeah, it's called. Let me see if I can get this right.
He's breaking up with me. I don't know if it's breaking up with anybody else.
This dysphoria. Yes, some species is dysphoria is called, and what that basically is, it's someone
you're breaking up massively.
For a dog or a component, you become that where yes, that's for the mental.
Simon.
What? Oh, so is that okay? Is that better?
You
keep cutting out. We didn't really hear any of that. It's all glitching.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to go to my car and get a better signal. Hold on.
It's your car?
Get the weekend. Yes?
Me not being able to share the link, and then, the link's not working, so no one can get on here. I'm having to tell everyone to type in.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to say. I'm going to stay there.
Lovely for you to join. I'm so sorry about the link not working. So it was me that messaged you to say it's coming to YouTube that way.
Thank you very much to everyone who's battling their way to join us. Simon's off to his car to get a better signal.
Can you hear me now?
From your car?
I will go to the nearest mountain. Right. Hold on.
That's dedication.
Oh, right. Right. I'm back. How's that?
That's better.
Hey!
Oh, there he is.
Right. That whole
you're going to have to start from the beginning because we didn't get any of that.
Right. I'll just catch my breath a minute because I'm a big lad. So they need to talk for a minute.
I think you were talking about the Skinwalkers and stuff, and it's quite interesting because the last live that I did 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the Wendigo, and the Skinwalkers get confused as well with Wendigos quite a bit. And And I found it very interesting. I'm a member of a lot of these online Facebook groups that are to do with, you know, paranormal and the supernatural and everything. And quite a lot of them are very American based. There's lots of American people and people from across the pond in these groups. And whenever there is a person that has these strange goings on who live in like the Utah area, that whole kind of Bible Belt area, that middle of nowhere whole strip, whenever there's anyone there that's got like hearing strange noises outside, hearing scratching at the door, hearing this, hearing that, it's always blamed on the Skinwalker. But it's not done in a really supernatural kind of way. It's done in a very practical way. They respond like as if, you know, these guys have got a puma in their back garden or something. It's very kind of, oh yeah, no, you've got a Skinwalker, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. And it's just like, it's not, they don't respond to it in a kind of a paranormal way. Not like if someone says they've got like a poltergeist, or if someone says, you know, they've got a doppelganger in their house, that's something different. But when someone is experiencing the things you get with the Skinwalker, they're all really very, very practical about it. Just, oh yeah, no, you don't go outside, do this, do the other, you need to do this, you need to do the other, and then that's it. And it's very bizarre to me because that makes it feel very real.
Well, like I was saying to Laura earlier, the problem with, because obviously with a witch that possesses, like a witch spirit that possesses an animal, like a coyote or something like that.
Yeah.
I know that they've said that there's glowing red eyes when you see this thing, but also if you were to capture footage, you're either gonna get some idiot in animal clothing having a go at one of the animals, as in a madman, or you're gonna catch a coyote or another animal having a go at another animal. So how are you supposed to tell the difference between a normal animal and one that's been possessed by a skinwalker?
Yeah. You need to, like, I don't know, throw holy water at it or something.
The power of Christ compels it. What?
I was going to say something then, but no, we're live. I'm going to behave myself. I mean, Jesus, I've got bad thoughts in my head now. Right, I'm going to behave.
It's not my facial hair, is it?
I can't think straight now. But, if you remember, you told me earlier, Simon, about when they put how much in many gallons of water they dyed it green.
Oh yes. There's they got the command center, but they've also got there's homesteads there where people there's a couple live there now, but there's also an abandoned place. And when they were going along the road, they did a geophys, which for people who don't know what that is, it looks like a lawnmower, but what it does is it measures below ground. And what they found is that there's like little dome shapes in the geophys. Where's my finger? Oh, there it is. There's like dome shapes, and I was going to say something then, but I thought, no, I better not, a family show. And they reckon that there could be tunnels. Stop it, Laura-Jayne. There's tunnels there, and they put water down there to see where the water would go, because the one guy, I can't remember what his name is now, but he put down a hell of a lot of water, and it took him 3 hours to build up this area, shall I say. And it took him 3 hours to fill it. 15 minutes, it was gone. It absorbed into the ground.
Oh.
And they couldn't find out where it went. So what they did was they came up with a plan. They thought, if they put a load of water into this particular area and dye it green, so they dyed it in incredible health green, and they poured, I think it was 45 gallons down this hole. And they thought, right, let's see where this comes out of. So they went walking around. One guy put a drone up there, and they could not find out where that water came out from. There was no signs of the dye anywhere. So
strange.
You know, it's and there's a lot of places on that site for the water to come out as well. So answers on a postcard.
I mean, could there be an underground like system of rivers or an underground lake or anything like that there that they haven't found yet? Or
well, the one thing that they have said is that there is an underwater cave, a supposed underwater like cave system under there, which is why they hypothesize that, you know, where they've been discovering the microwaves and all the rest of that stuff and the radiation. That could be where it's coming from. Like if there's like a generator underground or something that's emitting this sort of stuff. So
there's a foil hat wearing somebody somewhere who's convinced that it's the government with some sort of underground base planning nefarious. There always is.
Because that's what they had. They had from 96 to 2016. They had.
Oh, now we've lost Laura.
Oh my God. Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be. Yeah, so I don't know what Laura was just about to say, but
she's back. She's back.
Oh, there she is. Hello.
Try that again, Laura.
Well,
take two.
I'll get to. Yeah, Robert Bigelow. He bought it, and
no, internet does not like Robert Bigelow.
Come on, Laura, you can do it.
You can do it, Laura.
We got faith in you.
Laura, you have to go out to your car.
Going on. I'm moving.
This will end now with all three of us in our cars.
The things we have to do.
It always freezes in the most attractive pose as well. Have you noticed? You're never there with a beautiful smile on your face. You're always like. There we go. Right. Laura.
Oh my God,
Robert
right.
Bigelow.
Hopefully it works now. Robert Bigelow, he bought the ranch in 96 to 2016 due to do with all this phenomenon that's happened. Trying to think the people. You had the people before that. No, it's on my bit of paper. I can't remember what it's called.
Is there not a little bit of sort of putting it on to try and get attention?
Aha, I've got my bit of paper.
So this whole thing, though, it does feel a little bit like
from 94 to 96.
It does feel a little bit like, yeah, we've got this little bit of something that's happening, but let's blow this really big so that we can get on telly.
Well,
I mean, through 94 to 96, you had a couple called Terri and Gwen Sherman. Now, this is when all this phenomenon was happening. This is where all the cows were mutilated. The wife, she went up to the ridge and she said she felt something brush past her. She's like, she didn't know if it was a bird or it could have been a bat. And then when she turned around, she saw glowing red eyes. Now, this is supposedly meant to be the Skinwalkers. There was paranormal activity. This is where they saw the UFOs. And in the end, they sold up. And this is when Robert Bigelow bought it. And this is when the government and the Pentagon got involved. We'll never know what evidence they caught because it's been locked up. Because when Brandon Fugal got it, they wouldn't release any of the evidence that they caught. So who knows what the government was doing on Skinwalker Ranch? We'll never know that. It's a mystery. But this is where they said they saw lights. There's a beam. If you have that video, there's a beam shooting up.
I have. Do you want me to get it set up?
Yeah, if we could play that.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me share it.
As Laura said, the government did put $22 million into the research as well.
Million.
Yeah.
Hello, Flash Fix It Gaming. Hello, hello, hello. Right, let's play it. I'm going to put it on. Right, here we go.
Ready?
Yep, ready.
Oh, yeah.
We're pointing a laser toward the mesa where we've been detecting the abnormal amounts of radiation. But now, instead of seeing one laser spot like we should, we're seeing two.
The actual laser spot that's coming back in the camera is the little one. We need to go up there and look at it.
Hey, Eric, you copy?
I do.
You interested in going
Up on the mesa while these guys sit back and monitor it? You bet.
Well, let's go get Eric. Let's head up there.
You ready, man?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
Turn my headlamp on.
All right, let's go.
It's like walking on Mars or something. The rocks in the soil of the Skinwalker Ridge Mesa have an extremely high amount of some kind of crystalline material. So I'm wondering if there's a reflection happening up on the mesa that's causing the laser beam to split into 2 points of light instead of one. There are these little white discs everywhere. I don't know what it is.
You are getting
Pretty close to that laser. You'll have to start making a descent.
I'm going to turn and set right here. All right, and now I'm going to kill this light. All right.
Does the laser seem like it lost intensity?
The laser's lost power.
Whoa, where'd that laser go?
And it went out just now.
Radio back to and ask them if they're doing something to the laser.
Hey, Travis.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So we're before the light went out, the laser light went out.
You were standing exactly where the main glow of the laser was.
On the screen.
Really? That's correct.
I'll go back up there, see what's going on.
Hold on, guys.
I just replaced the batteries in this laser. There's no way that it's the batteries that are causing it to malfunction. I tried everything to get it to come back on again, but it's just one of those million things that happens at Skinwalker Ranch. Buttons pushed in and everything. It's dead.
Hey, Travis?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
The laser is dead. I think it's crazy that as soon as we got here, the laser went out.
Hardly the first time something like that's happened here.
Unfortunately, it's typical.
All right, guys. I think we've seen enough here.
Let's carefully make our way back down the ridge.
Carefully. The laser experiment was inconclusive, but what we did discover with this experiment is that the mesa is highly reflective. Now that's interesting, especially since we've seen in the past the mesa seeming to glow and there being beams of light coming up from the mesa. There's something to this place. I just don't...
Okay.
Oh.
That wasn't the right video.
Okay. I was
There
going
was
to
a
say that.
video. It's the same. That same episode, but further along, you see there's lights flashing in the sky, and then you see a beam going up and then turning off and then going back up again.
Yeah, I think I would have probably preferred to have seen that because that was just like prove to me that one of you didn't just switch that off.
That was not the right video. Oh, Simon, you sent us the wrong video.
Blame Simon.
We're blaming you.
I'm sorry.
To Fable Online. Hello, Death by Fly. Yes, I am being harassed by a big, fat, woolly black fly, and I don't know where it's come from, and I don't know where it has now gone.
It's not Jeff Goldblum, is it?
No, that would be kind of cool.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, no, that was a big ass fly. That was
horrible, and I don't like it, and I don't want it to land on me again.
And Crystal, you can either get this show is called Skinwalker Ranch, and if you look on, it's either on Sky or you can see on Amazon Prime. It is a good show.
Yeah,
it's interesting what you find out, and Flash fixed again.
The problem that I have with these shows, and I watch a lot of them, not just about this. There's other ones about people hunting for treasure and for giants and all the rest of them, but they all sort of follow the same format. I'm pretty sure it's the same production team that does them, and it's that whole American. Oh, let's make it a lot more exciting than it is. Let's do a close-up of his foot slightly slipping a little bit on a not particularly steep hill, but put dramatic music behind it and make it sound like it's really dangerous. It's just like, well, just stop. Just tell us the story. You don't need to make all this big hoo-ha about it. It's an interesting story on its own. And that quite winds me up because it detracts from what they're actually trying to say.
Yeah.
And you should start picking holes in everything they're saying then.
Yeah.
Go
on, Simon, sorry.
No, please, ladies first.
No, it's fine. Go on.
Fight!
She wins. What I done exactly.
I'm a bad loser. I'm so competitive.
One of the things that I like what Terry was just saying now. What I don't understand is that if they've secured the ranch and they put all these researchers are put in place, and like before with the footage that was not released, if they're making it so secure, why are they making it into a TV show? Because I mean, Brandon Fugel is a rich guy who's
he's a multi-millionaire.
What's that?
He's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not as if he's short of a few quid. So what I just don't understand why they feel they need to make it into a TV program when obviously what they're doing is proper scientific. It's not tippany ippany, and I just don't get why they need to why they're exposing it so much, and yet they're making the place tightly secure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, that is actually something that makes me suspicious, because if you only let a film crew in to film what they want to film, and then you secure it against everybody else, you can basically invent what you like, say whichever stories you want, get any kind of conspiracy theory going about the area that you want going, and no one can disprove it. You can make a really legitimate documentary, but even in that little video there that we saw, oh, the laser went off. It's pushed in, but the laser went off. Okay, show me the video of the laser and nobody touching it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's kind of like it feels very dramatic, but then there's no real content.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is highly edited, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show.
My goodness, how did that happen?
We've done an hour already. This is going to be a two-parter, so in 2 weeks we are going to carry on with the Skinwalker Ranch, because there is just so much stuff. Obviously, we haven't been able to have time to cover the paranormal and what's happened there with the paranormal side of it. So I shall find the right videos. I think it's not been a good day for technical issues, has it?
this gives everyone a chance who's watching it at YouTube to send us the questions. And when they join us next week or the week after next, even, then we can answer any questions that they have.
That would be amazing. So if you join us again in 2 weeks when we do the second part of Skinwalker Ranch, we'd love all your comments, any questions you have. Please write them and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Obviously, next week we will have Sarah and Kerry. I don't know what the do is, that's yet to be announced. But so join in for Kerry and Sarah next week. But thank you guys for everybody. Oh, next week's demon guy. Right, they're doing about demons next week. Oh, I've got to join that one. Oh, I love all that. That's right up my alley. So yeah, I'll be there monitoring the chat next week, and then in 2 weeks, me, Terry, and Sarah will be back to do the second part. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Good night, Terry. Night, Simon. Good night, everybody.
Good night, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.